Hey guys, how are you doing? Hopefully you're having a great day. In today's video, I want to do a little tackle review video, I guess you could say. Over the past couple of weeks, I have been able to complete the SLX trifecta, as in the SLX reels. And I've been getting a lot of questions from you guys regarding these reels, regarding, which one, in my opinion at least, I feel like they would be more suited for, if the price is worth it, all those kind of questions. So in today's video, I kind of want to go over all three of these reels. I have all three of them in my hand, the SLX, the SLX DC, and the SLX XT. I want to go over all of these. I want to compare them and contrast them. And at the end of the video, I want to go over my opinion of all of these three reels. Hopefully clarify your questions a little bit more. Hopefully that's the main plan of this video, and make it a little easier for you guys to decide between these three reels and, of course, their price points. So before we get into today's video, I want to let you guys know that I have reviews for all three of these reels. I have a review for the SLX that came out last fall, SLX DC that came out last month, and the SLX XT which came out last week. So I'm going to leave all three of those videos linked down below. So if you guys are looking for more detailed review, I would go there first. I take the reel out, not necessarily the package because I didn't get a box for these reels, but I pretty much unbox them. I talk about the specs, I go over the reel itself, and then I go fishing with the reel in that video, and I catch fish on the reel. So that kind of gives you guys my overall opinion of the reel. I have had more hours on these reels since then, so my opinion has grown, especially, comparing them to each other. But that's where I'll go first. If you guys are more interested in any of these reels, go to one of those reviews and have a look. So first of all, I want to go over the technologies that all three reels have in common, and then after I'm going to contrast them for you guys. But these reels are really, really different. They have different price points, they have different technologies, but the main similarity between all three of these reels is that they offer a Hagane body. So what the Hagane body is a full metal frame body. It's not graphite, it's not composite, it's none of that kind of stuff. It's metal. It's rigid, it's strong, it's sensitive, it's amazing. They're not going to flex. You can feel the bite coming all the way down your rod, through your reel. It's a Hagane body. That is a very, very big improvement and a great feature to have at these price points. Another thing that these reels have in common is the spool. They all have the same 150 size spool, so you can fit a fair bit of line on these reels. And for a 150 size spool, these reels are very, very small. The SLX is the smallest out of these three. Next, the SLX XT, it's a little bit wider because of the SVS Infinity casting on the side, the technology, the brakes, sorry. And the SLX DC is the biggest out of them all, but it's still very, very small, very, very compact for a 150 size reel. And again, all of these three reels come in left and right hands in 6:3:1, 7:2:1, and 8:2:1 reels. So you're all set on what gear ratio you want to have. So now here comes the hard part. I want to make this as simple for you guys as I can. I want to go through all the differences between these reels, starting off with the weight and all that kind of stuff, and then moving into the technologies. So the regular SLX is the lightest and the smallest out of all three reels. It comes in at 6.9 ounces. Next up is the SLX XT. It's the middle-sized one. It's still very, very small, and it comes in at 7.2 ounces, and the SLX DC comes in at 7.6 ounces. Now, bearing-wise, the SLX, the regular SLX, is the only one that has 4 bearings. It has 3 bearings plus 1 roll bearing. The DC and the XT come with 5. Now, finish-wise, the SLX and the SLX DC have the same matte black finish, and the SLX XT has like a softer, smoother, gray finish to it. Now, price, which is a very, very big deciding factor. The whole SLX series is very, very competitively priced. It is, I wouldn't say cheap because it comes off as in the the reel isn't made well, but these reels are very, very inexpensive, which is absolutely great budget-friendly reels. The SLX comes at $100 US and $139 Canadian. The SLX XT comes in at $129 US and $179 Canadian, and the SLX DC comes in at $179 US and $289 Canadian. So in the broad spectrum of things, the main difference between these reels is the braking systems that they have, and that is pretty much the only difference. So let's get into these reels separately, starting off with the SLX. So starting off with the SLX, let's talk about a couple of its differences between the other guys. And the main one is the VBS braking system. So if you pop this baby open, as you guys can see, that is the VBS braking system right there from Shimano. Now, as you guys can see, there's 6 pins. Pin down means that the braking system is on. Pin up means that it's off. Most of the time I keep 2 or 3 on. If you're just starting out, it's probably a good idea to, have 3 or 4, or maybe even 5 on. But it's a great budget-friendly reel. It casts an absolute mile, and that's pretty much the main difference between the SLX and the other SLXs. Now moving up to approximately $30 more, you have the SLX XT. Now, there is quite a bit of differences between the SLX and the SLX XT and the SLX DC. There's just so many SLXs, but the biggest difference is that you have SVS infinity braking. Now, when I first picked up this reel, I thought it felt like a Bantam. It resembled a Bantam to me. I have a Bantam sitting right here, actually, but the finish on it is different, obviously. It has more of like a slickness to it, and of course, you have that SVS infinity braking. You open it up, you have 4 pins. I usually have 2 on or 1 on, and the great thing about this braking system is that you can adjust on the fly, changing between lures, changing between weather conditions. You can adjust, you have 1 to 6 on the outside, you can adjust your braking system on the outside. Now, I definitely think this reel outcasts the SLX. I'm not going to be doing a casting video or anything like that in this video, but it definitely outcasts the SLX, and you have more control of your spool, obviously, just because you have 2 braking systems as opposed to just 1 to tune your reel. Now, ending off with the SLX DC, obviously, we have DC technology, digital control casting in this reel. That's what makes this reel a tad bit wider, and that's what makes this reel so special. This is the most affordable DC technology money can buy, and it's pretty inexpensive at $179 US and $289 Canadian. It just blows my mind that Shimano is able to offer DC for this cheap, when a couple of years ago you'd have to spend $600–700 for DC technology. So of course, DC technology is inside. Again, I have a full video on this reel. I'm not going to go too in depth, but it's totally sealed. That's the DC technology in there, the little chip. And you have your cast control on the outside between 1 and 4. And again, I'm not going to go over that in this video. I'll leave the link to the DC reel down below in the description to that review. But that's the main difference. You have DC technology in this reel. So now let's talk, about these 3 reels and talk about pretty much what you guys have been asking me for the past couple of weeks. And that is, which reel is my favorite? Which reel is worth it? Is the DC worth the extra, $70 or $80? Is the SLX DC better or as good as the Corrado DC even? Is, the XT, just been so many questions, and I kind of want to clarify a couple of things for you guys and kind of give you guys my opinion, to end off this video. So, first off, I have been very, very impressed with the SLX. The SLX is a great reel for $100. It blows the Casitas and Canyon out of the park. It feels amazing. It's small. It casts far. There's nothing bad I can say about this reel at all. It's a great reel. If you're on a budget, if you want some awesome Shimano technology, this is the way to go. 100%. I 100% recommend the SLX reel. So now, is the SLX XT worth it over the regular SLX? And in my personal opinion, yes. I also have fallen in love with this reel tremendously. I absolutely love this reel. I think it's worth the extra $20–30 if you have the money, of course, for the SVS infinity braking. This braking system, it's current, it's you have two braking options, so you just get to dial that reel in a little bit more. And I don't know what it is about this finish, but I just love the finish. It feels like a Bantam. I absolutely love this reel. I honestly, like, this reel is gonna be replacing a lot of my older reels here in the near future. I really like this reel. I think it's worth the extra $30. Now, moving on the SLX DC, where I have been getting a ton of questions, the main question I've been getting is the SLX DC, first of all, worth it over just the regular SLX? And second of all, you know, just as good as the Corrado DC? Because you're pretty much paying for DC technology. You know, the SLX or the SLX XT at $100 and $130, and this guy's at $170 or $180. So you're paying about $50 more US for DC technology. Now, do I think it's worth it? Yes, but it's like having a specialty tool in your toolbox. You're not gonna need, you don't need all your reels to be DC technology. There's no need for that. You know, I can cast the SLX XT without a thumb as well. That's not the point of having DC. The point of DC is having that added advantage. When you're skipping, no backlash. When you're casting light lures or any lure for that matter, into the wind, it casts further. The DC technology just flat out works. It reads your spool 1,000 times a second to adjust it so you don't get backlash, so you get the maximum amount of distance possible. It's a great tool to have in your toolbox. I don't think it's necessary. I think it's an amazing addition to your arsenal. It's also great to have when you're just starting out in bait casting. You know, the biggest issue with bait casting is getting the right motion and having the right, you know, tension with your thumb on the spool to learn how to cast, to get, you know, the muscle memory. DC technology makes it a whole lot easier to learn how to cast. You put the sucker on 4, and you're good to go. You pretty much, there's nothing else to do. You're good to go. It's great to have, you know, when you're teaching your girlfriend or your boyfriend how to fish, you're just getting into bait casting. For $179 or $289, it's a great reel to have. I definitely think it's worth it, and I definitely think it's a great addition to have in your boat. Now, comparing it to the Corrado DC, which I actually have right here, I'll take it out for you guys. There is a difference. You feel a difference. You know, if it really just depends on your budget at this point. The micro module does make a difference. They are pretty much about the same size. The Corrado DC may be a tad bit smaller, but I mean, other than that, it's kind of hard to persuade someone to buy the Corrado DC when you have the SLX DC, you know, for $80 less or whatever it is. But if you are a little bit more of a tackle guru like I am, if you do have the resources like I do, I definitely do recommend the Corrado DC. It just feels better in your hand. You know, at the end of the day, I want the reel to cast well, I want the reel to fish well, but I want the reel to feel good in my hand, and just personally, I prefer the Corrado DC over the SLX DC. That has been one of the main questions I've been getting. And I'm going to check Instagram to see what other questions I have been getting, and I'm going to, you know, answer them here. So one question here from Fishing Tag: does the reel cast as nice as the Corrado DC? It definitely casts very similar to the Corrado DC. I haven't noticed a difference. Let's just say that. I think it casts pretty much the same as the Corrado DC. I also have different line on my Corrado and on my SLX DC, so that makes a big difference, but I'm confident to say it casts very much the same. Again, Dane on YouTube asked, Corrado DC or SLX DC? It really just depends on your budget. If you have the money, I definitely would go Corrado DC. It just feels a lot better, but the technology is pretty much the same, so you know, it's up to you at that point. And again, the question I've been getting the most, is the DC worth the extra $60 or $70 in the SLX? I think so, yes. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this SLX comparison video. I'm going to leave links to where you can buy all of these reels, both in America and in Canada. And I mean, other than that, if you guys have any questions I haven't answered, drop them down below. I'll do my best to answer them. And I'll see you guys in the next one.